Double uptake here. So welcome to another day in paradise. It's Wednesday, I believe, and first of all, when I go through my different times of, let's say, this new way of routine or something, the first thing that always affects me and my energy is sleep. That I can completely jinx myself out of it, sleep, and right now I'm in the way that my mind connects my bed to not when I sleep. And trust me, I know my sleep hygiene. I'm not doing the typical of bringing my phone to the bed or having blue light and nothing. I'm completely, you know how I am when I'm with things that I'm disciplined with, what I'm really focused on, like bodybuilding. So I do that with my sleep. It still makes me have to repeat the same thing. I go into the same mind tantrum that I can be sleepy, I can do anything, and then I just go into the moment and know I'm gonna sleep, and then no. And it's like, I can't do it, so I have to then sleep on the couch. You kind of restart here, do the cognitive behavior therapy for myself again, resetting the routine, restart over, learning, and not causing it to be a crazy chaos, dramatic thing, because that only stressed me out and I'm not gonna get anywhere with it. So here I am today to talk about bodybuilding beyond Dogma, because today starts the challenge 57 Dream Body, and I want to explain to you who've been training for as long as I have, 23 years going, why do you have anything you can learn from me at all? Seriously, so we're gonna talk about that. But as always, my glasses have a filter on them so I look prettier. So I wish it was like that. So there's a little pause for me to get my eyes. For those who here's the it always does like no, it's like this is my warning. Like whoever's warning me that don't say this, I'm like, I'm gonna do it anyway. That's me. It's like I get nothing to hide, right? And also, you know, guys, think about this. My whole career working with all the people around the world, and you come to me now, when you one of my brownie batter girls, for instance, like don't feel like you just came now and wonder that nobody's listening. That's how it is for me. That's how it is. That's nothing new. People don't really listen. They say they want to, and I'm gonna say that a lot of people are gonna be mad at me now. So here's the thing. If you get butthurt from what I'm about to say, if you feel that I'm too upset or I should just like mind my own business, or you think Jesus, like relax or whatever it is, you're probably not a bodybuilder. You're probably just kind of, you want to get fit and live a healthy life, or you want to enjoy my community as a fighter at war, you are welcome. But if that's what you want, you have to be honest with me and tell me, what do you want from me as my coaching? Because I'm committed. I'm a mother effer coach. When you talk to me and you tell me you have a dream or something, oh, you bet I'm gonna fight for your dream. Because I committed my life to do that for other people. Because I had nobody who I could call or text or ask when I wanted to eat up that would definitely kill all my dreams to go to America. Because I could not sit on a fitness magazine cover with a fat body, right? I had to have my discipline. I also had to learn how to have my discipline continuously. I couldn't just get in show shape for once. And then what? So here's the thing. When you come into my coaching, step one is, of course, to get into your results, where you want to be. Oh, the nose again. Why is it always like everything's like running on me? The snort is something. I don't know, I look like a heroin addict now with this, but this is from my PRF. Hej Ann-Kristin. Förresten, jag gjorde skulderövningar på min stretching mobilitetslista på YouTube, så du har övningar där på, som jag pratar på svenska, bara visa formen på. Oh. Alright. This is like now when I'm sitting here, everything is like falling apart on my body, which is running. So I have to now, I'm just gonna add a little bit of tampon up my nose. It's like I can never get started, guys. When you're signing up for a coach, it's very important to understand the fitness culture that you are coming from, that you believe is the same for everyone, and then understand that I'm different. So all the coaches you've had in the past, forget about it, everything is new with me. And now with FT7, everyone in FT12, FT12 was my original challenge format, 12 weeks long, until I realized that, well, if people can't even hold on for a few weeks, I'm gonna cut it off to shorter time to try to see if I can hold you on longer time. Because everyone wants to build a body that takes years in a week and then refuse to see that that's unrealistic. Everyone is okay to throw a tantrum, this was not what you wanted, and then bye. You have too much money, that's fit. If you can just invest in a fitness challenge and not give it all, I would say that I think we should get a lot of traction this way. If you keep on repeating the same mistake and you completely override my command, which I say, if you are weak and you want to fall off, you know who you have to talk to first? Me, because I can stop what you're doing there on your own. But I can only do that if you want to, because if you don't, you're gonna go away and you say, screw you, Pauline, I don't need you now, I don't want to be motivated today, because I'm not in the mood for this, I just want to do my thing, and then I'll see you next week. And in anyone who's a regular fitness coach, that's fine, because you just care about the money and like you want them good, but you understand, okay, there's people, great. But for me, this is my pain as a coach, because I am so passionate and engaged and committed to you, because I care. Because I think about you as equal, as you have a dream, who am I to say that you can't fight and conquer it? But for you to do that in my domain of expertise, which is bodybuilding, and not only default, but beyond all the typical stoppers. Thyroid, not having the body, being on the other side of the wrong country, eczema, false liver disease, hypothyroidism, having the accent, and then all the stuff, injuries. So I'm just saying that there's a lot of stuff going on there that we still have to overcome. And when you come into me then and you choose me as a coach, you have to understand that my delivery, the way I talk to you that makes you happy when you want to, is also going to make you hate me in the moments where you want to be weak and you want to listen to all the glutton monsters who want to eat, who want to surf another diet tsunami wave because you want to. I know it. I had to figure that out myself. I had to go through one after another kind of insights by wanting to override my weakness over and over and over. So just so you know that when you go into never seeing what I talk about, the afterlife diet, like when you're not in the mode, when you don't want to get motivated, that's the problem. It's not that you don't know the tricks up your shoulder or like tricks up your sleeve, or that you didn't hear me say that go to the recipe app, put it on 20 minutes timer, now just scroll and see everything you can eat, make the dream menus. Or I tell you that just remember that you can have this treat 2 days from now. Just lie to yourself, like dream about it. I give you all my life hacks that have made my journey, my body come to the level that I wanted it, because I had to do the work required for my body to get there. And for my goals, it took all from me, because I love to eat. I was a hard worker that I could never outwork my ability to eat a lot. And so many times I wanted to eat more than I wanted to have the dream, because I wanted to believe that I was going to be stronger later. So I'm just going to do it one more time, and then I'm going to feel so disgusted with myself, so I'm never going to do it again. It was a lie every time, but I believed it. So that's why I get so tired of hearing you believe your own lies, which I thought, well, it took me about 7 years before I discovered fire that when I got that epiphany. And then after that, it took me about from 2007 when the epiphany came there. And then it's almost all the way up to 2017. Yeah, it's about 10 years, guys. That after I figured it out, I still had to I didn't know how that I actually don't want to overwin it. Because if I was really convinced that this is what I have to do, if you know that you have to have a certain discipline, you have to do this to get the results, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna do it because you know, you're convinced. That's the same thing as being religiously, completely, in faith, pure faith. You believe, blind faith, there's a heaven after that. How can you do that when you don't know? Faith. You can have faith that there's something after this life, but you can't have faith that if you have hard work and pure dedication without going back on your word, then you're gonna get there. So this motivation thing there for bodybuilding, how do you stay motivated to build muscle beyond basics, beyond the dogma. Because here's the thing. All you are beginners are coming to me. Beginners at, let's say, a virgin level where you have never trained, or you are 75. Doesn't matter to me. You're a beginner when you're gonna master, practice what is actually skills and science. And that is bodybuilding. It's biomechanics, it's biochemistry, it's bioenergetics, it's anatomy, it's physiology, it's psychology, it's like everything. Plus, you're gonna have to understand that what is so difficult with this is that you have to play with human nature. You have to manage, and you have to really get all your different kind of feelings, your hate, your love, your frustration, your impatience, your jealousy, your anger, your laziness, your weakness, your fear, your insecurities, all that stuff you have to handle. And you're never gonna get out of it, and you want to be perfect, and then that's another thing, that the more you try to be perfect, the more you're gonna notice that you're gonna be never gonna make it, because you are looking in the wrong area. So why do I want you in the bodybuilding, why do I want you in the beginner's challenge when you have been training, you have all the muscle, you come into me, you've been training for 23 years like me, plus you keep on going. Well, the thing is that I've seen a lot of videos from you guys, and not only what you show me, because usually you don't even want me to correct your forms, because you know how to lift. You can lift a lot of heavy weights that I can't anymore, because I have to build muscle around my injury, so I have to do all that toning things that you don't want to do, because it's too light and you're too advanced. And right now I am ruffling feathers on you because you need it, guys. This is not for the beginners or the intermediate or the ones who understand that bodybuilding requires you to actually study, to continuously educate you on how to keep on building. Because here's the thing, I wonder if you see the future that you're gonna have, unless you realize that at some point you have to, if you want to keep on evolving, or not just stay the same and slowly reverting to lose a little bit by little muscle, because that's the part of life. You are not going to be able to keep the muscle mass when you get older, so you have to compensate by adding more. So you are compensating by continuously wanting more. That's why I say you're never going to maintain, guys. You always have to have more when it comes to muscle, because if you don't, you're going to see that you are going to get diminishing muscle mass naturally, and also your body gets smart. If you've been training for some time, guess what? You're not going to get more. Just how it is. It gets harder and harder. So why do people then who've been training for 10 years, 50 years, they keep on coming here and show how they're so strong and so dedicated, and you keep on? And you're gonna hate me, because this is not the beginners. This is not for the intermediate who know. The ones with open mind, the want to learn from me, who I talk to every day. You are not the ones I'm talking about now. So you are all in good company. I have all the respect for you, because you are part of my peers. That's how I see. When you understand that what we do here is what I do. I master, I refine, I check myself, I record, I look at what I'm doing, and then I do all I can to what can I do to make it better. I am not protecting my ego, my pride, to make sure that I always look the best, or I have nothing to work on. Because if that was the teacher you had, guess what I would be? A stupid, ignorant ass who thought there's just one way to do it. That's like unintelligent. That's like really like, what is the old saying? Is it Socrates who said, like, you know, that pure wisdom is like, the more you know that you know nothing, or something like that. It's really true, because the more you keep on going into studying something that you want to be expert at, the more you're gonna notice that you know nothing. And the thing is that you never get to that level of insight, because you don't even want to go into that room, right? Because you rather hold on to your beliefs, and this is how it is. You want your systems that you run your life with, because you know it then. You want to be stuck in a box. You know A plus B, lift heavy, train hard, 6 reps, 5 sets, rest 2 minutes, lift heavy, go hard. And then you do that over and over and over. And then the same women go and tell the beginners here that you're building muscle, you're staying lean, and so on, and you're telling that story. It's bullshit. You know why? You're just repeating, you are recycling, you're recycling the same amino acids, tearing it down and rebuilding it up, and you want to believe that you're getting more muscle because you're just getting leaner. So when you do your little body fat DEXA scan, whatever you think is gold standard, you're gonna see how you leaned out, because you say, oh, I gained more muscle mass. Well, of course you did when you first fattened up a little bit. Now you're coming in here, you're getting leaner, and you're increasing muscle mass by muscle memory. That's the first baby gain. Then after that, nothing else. You are just repeating the gain you did in the past, but beyond that, nothing. So you are fooled by thinking that you don't understand that your body composition naturally is going to be bad when you start coming back from hiatus. So you took your depressed life, being too fat for your own liking, you wanted to be fit, you want to get back to you when you feel great, but you forgot about it, and life happened and all that COVID, and then COVID came. So all that stuff you bring into now you want to repeat the cycle. Well, what are you going to do then when you're injured? That's going to happen. What are you going to do if you can't lift the way you have to load it at 6 reps? Heavy and hard, deadlift, squat, and deadlift, and lunges and volume that you always did when you were 20, 30, 40, now you're 50 and your tendons won't hold up. Are you going to try to do that again? What are you going to do then when all the tendons are tearing apart? Because with a little tear here and there, you're getting worse and worse ligaments and tendons, tissue. It's just never going to repair the same way. So once injured, you always have to nurse it and also know that the repair is going to be in the wrong way. Not when you have collagen or like your ligament, the tendons, they're like aligned like that. But when you are repairing injury, your body does a band-aid across, and that is not as strong as the original. So you're always going to have a less good tendon once it's gone. Once it's torn, it's never going to be the same. You have to be an extreme professional like me, who's always keeping on doing all the laundry work and all the mobility and all this stuff. And if that makes me wonder, so I know you have jobs, you have family and all that, so you don't even have time to do all what I do for my body to be able to train at my level. Because I have to kill myself in the gym. Why? Because otherwise my body won't build me muscle. So I train harder, so much harder than ever. That's like me every year. It's like, I don't know, like I have to train harder. Like it's never easier. So that is the nature of the beast. And how will I do that without feeling like I'm going under, like it becomes such a big snowball, I can't pull it off? Well, I have to be excited. I have to figure it out that, oh, there are other ways to do it. Because if I'm gonna try to keep doing my lifting the way I did to build my body first, the basic way of Dogma, lift heavy and hard over time, do more lifts, heavy and hard, keep on, basic. What do you do then? Well, if you can't lift that really heavy, the highest intensity for a few reps, which is pure strength, which you believe is the only way or the most way because there's so much weight and you like that because it makes you feel good, there's a lot of weight on the bar, even though you're not even training for hypertrophy, you just think so. You're doing a deadlift, rounded back, and then drop the weight down on the floor like the CrossFitters. Why? Are you building? Yeah, they don't care about hypertrophy, they care about strength and looking cute or good. They're athletic, that kind. But they're not doing it as for symmetry or for aesthetics. In case in point, the women there usually have a lot of traps because they don't build the muscles for aesthetics the way I do or bodybuilding Arnold. They're not about that. They're about sport, function. They want to do that, or maybe they want to look like that, but that's their idea. My point is that the way they train is very few people can do that. When you come to me and you're beginners at 50, and you look at the CrossFit girls, and you think that's what's going to be you're not going to be able to do it. It's just too intense for your body. You don't have the ability. And I'm saying that with all the love. I don't have it either. I can just go and do that. For all the people here who are not injured, who can lift a lot of weight and just train heavy and hard, who say that they're building muscle. Here's the thing. When you're maintaining a very lean body and you have ultra low body fat like me, your muscle increase is going to be nothing unless you are so extremely disciplined with your diet that you really are sacrificing refeeds because you don't want to gain fat, but you also want to build muscle. And that requires you to be so precise, so refined with slowly adding so little that there's like, you couldn't even see on the grass growing. That's the way that's how you do the lean muscle building and the way I do it. But who has patience for that? Exactly, you don't, because you know that's how you should do it if you want to build in muscle, not just get fatter, which is the easy way to do it. Is that it takes more discipline to do that than to just get lean again, or to keep on doing your thing, or to kind of do the tsunami wave and eat and then repeat the same fat reduction. Here's the thing, you know what really keeps me from not doing my tsunami waves, why I don't just stick to my discipline? well, I don't want to have the consequence. It makes me so demotivated to wake up and feeling fat and just know, okay, went straight to my place where I don't want it. So a mustard here. It's not a wet stain though, not a Monica Lewinsky stain. And also number 2 is that I don't want to deduct my calorie intake on my regular day, because I know that the more I can eat every day, the more energy I'm gonna have, the more energy I have to train really hard. I can't eat too little anymore to just kind of cardio away, because I will kill any muscle gain at all. And I cannot do cardio to cardio away anyway. I would have to pick and choose my priorities. I have to choose, do I want to build a lot of lean muscle? Do I just want to be skinny and have abs? Or like skinny fat, or skinny shredded, or super lean but no muscle size? I can choose. When you're coming back from injuries, and let's say maybe you've had your whole career with baby making, having family and all that, then you notice that your body's not the same when it's coming back. It might not feel the same and so on. So you might believe that you're gonna be able to do what you did in the past, but you're gonna wake up to reality, see that doesn't work the same way. When I look back to when I was 25 and 30 compared to now, it's incredible how much I could recover much faster. And I remember that up to maybe 37 or 38, I kept on thinking that I am recovering as fast as I could 25. Now I know, years later, that it's definitely a difference. I don't even want to train that much if I could. Like, I don't want to. I don't want to go and kill me in the gym the way I did before. Too much volume. I also don't want to do 3 hours of intense cardio to compensate for my shitty eating disorder, for not ever owning up to me that I'm eating like a pig and then pretending that it's my body's fault and spending tons of time working it off every week and never going past that. Because every time I'm coming close to where I feel like I've never been this lean, I'm self-sabotaged by eating more because I freak out that I'm getting puny. Oh, what if I lost muscle now? Now I'm too lean. And I listen to everyone who says, oh my God, you're so lean, you look scrawny now. That's just people who want me to fatten up again. So, I want to write out just a list of things that I realized, and just now when I was getting prepared, I realized that, well, you know, for instance, how I take care of my body, the trigger point, not trigger point, but how I scrape tools and so on. I haven't even shown you how I use my cream and my wooden tool, and I lay on my stomach to really drag up on the adductor magnus and on my hamstrings from the bottom and up to really loosen up the scar tissue from one of my hamstrings and to make sure that it's still long. I haven't even showed you that. Do you do that? And also I wonder, like, when you come out here and you have careers and stuff, the days where you could just go and lift and not stretch and not do the warm-up and just dry fuck it on there, it's not gone. Unless you're fortunate and have no injuries, but if you're that person, you usually have the body you're not happy with because you've been living your life lazy, you've been sleeping in, you've been eating junk food, and you've been sedentary, and that's why you have the consequence to pay, which means you can train hard now, but now you're gonna struggle with the motivation that you're not having the body that you wish you had. You have to work a lot harder with your leanness, and now you might be the person that I never was, but I hear this a lot. Women say, when I was 20, I never thought about my diet, I could eat whatever I wanted, and I don't know what happened, because after that I got married, had kids, and now my body's different, and I don't know what. Yeah, you had your romance with your body was happy when you were a kid or you were young. Well, now you have what I've had my whole life. You will always have a tough time with your body, from right off the bat. The last 10 pounds has always been my first 10 last pounds. The moment I looked at the diet, my body's like, no. And that's another thing good to know, that the shorter you are, the smaller you are, the less total weight is gonna come off your body. You can't compare yourself to someone who's double your size in absolute kilos of pounds. You have to think percentage-wise. So if you lose 5 pounds and you're 240 pounds and you're 6'5", you're gonna have lost less than if you're 5 feet and you're 240 pounds, of course. For all my people who've been training for a long time, this is what I wonder about. When I see your movies or your demos, and remember, I'm here to give you more muscle. I'm treating you like you are my equal because you are, and I think about you, how are you gonna work around your injuries and your shortcomings and your weaknesses and your insecurities? So I base that on seeing how you train the gym, and everyone is applauding you in the group, and I'm just like, oh no, because I'm terrified that the beginners are going to go and copy your form. I don't want them to, because they're going to get injured. They're not going to be able to build efficiently, and I'm going to have to deal with that then. So for instance, you're all doing, you believe this is range of motion, when you're not even to parallel. And parallel is kind of standard to even get any close to your glutes at all. So you wonder why you're never getting glutes, because you have to reduce the load of the barbell to get ass to the grass, and that with straight back. And that's this. Are you there? You do this with belt for no reason, because someone told you that a belt would protect you injury. That's not true, and you're also reducing the muscle mass needed to build it, so you're burning fewer calories, you're getting weaker, so I'm not into belts. And anyone who has a belt for any medical reason, that's up to you, but just so you know, it won't help you. It will not reduce any risk of injury. If anything, it's better to just be warm and film, so you see what you're doing with your form. So another thing I see all the time is the rounding of the back on the deadlifts, all deadlifts. That's that one. And then number two, when you get into form here, perfect, but then that's not the end. Why don't you do deeper? Deficit, sumo deadlifts, deficit deadlifts. Because the greater the range of motion, the more you can load the muscle, the more tension the muscle, the less the weight is gonna be, but the more total stimulation you're gonna end up with. Another one here is my little rounded back row, and you're rowing with the shoulder, with the bicep, nothing happens with your back. No wonder you're not getting a V-taper. So you gotta get the elbow up and straight back. And then here's the typical, all the women love to do the glute thrust with tons of weight because it looks good. Again, ego, love to see the big weights, even though the lever, the distance you're traveling with that bar is so small that it's pointless. But all the girls love that because it's easy to do it, even though it takes years to load it. Because the weight on the bar on a squat is not gonna be any close to that, because the distance you go is much deeper, further. And the further the distance, the total greater load is, that's all Newton. But yeah, I see you all the time, especially on the glute plank. Everyone got mad at me because I was calling everyone out. Because everyone was laying in the midair of half flexed hip, not doing full extensions. You're pretty much just doing an inefficient move. Like my number one least important move is the glute thrust. I think it's just overrated. Everyone is obsessed with it. I'm not. I've never been. And the thing with the glute thrust then is that if you're gonna do it, you have to really work the right form, because that mid-range completely waste of time. And so now I'm gonna just go through a little bit of things that just came into my mind that I want to do. First off, we have all the things that all the typical of reps. Okay, we have the basic reps, but that's just one way. You know me and my rhythm. 1.5 reps, 1.5 bottom reps, 1.5 peak reps. Time and attention and bottom rest hold, pause tension. Those are not my concept, one of those. I have detour sets. I do one hold and one goes up, alternating and variant, a rotating angle. I use in bands and I combine them with weights. I have different ways of hitting it from certain areas that you cannot even think about because you have to work it. There was a moment when I started and with bands and I thought it was only for fire hydrants. That was my level. You can see I'm a professional and I completely fall in love with the combination because that's how I can keep on building when I'm injured, during time, through the time, because I have to train really hard and heavy. And heavy is such a kind of weird term because for you, you think absolute heavy. I think about what does it heavy feel like? If I'm blind or can't see, it's the sensation. That's what I go by, not the absolute load, because if I take a crane and I lift it up, well, that's someone lifted it up, right? It wasn't me, but I did get it done. A lot of times you seem to be like that when you train, almost like you're like a little bit like old bodybuilder guys, dudes who just like, I can lift beers. And you're like, you want to stupefy yourself a little, like be a little stupid. I'm like, you're not. You want to be old, grumpy, and I'm like, that's not a refined, high-level woman. Okay, so what I can teach you, just things that I came up to. First of all, I'm thinking about all the workout, all the training, all the programs that I've been doing all my years that I see that you are not even aware of. You also don't know how to work with refeeds when you're building lean muscle the way I'm doing now if you don't want to fatten up in the process. How do you eat without doing the typical diet tsunami wave over and over and over when you want to gain muscle? How do you actually stop thinking that you're building muscle, which you're not, because you're just going by the body composition misleading thing? And here's the thing too that you want to know. You know what's going to happen with the next reading when you notice that you got leaner too? You're going to see the muscle mass went down. Now you're going to freak out and say, oh my god, I lost muscle. You always will on a reading. When you lose a lot of body fat, you're going to see the muscle mass go down too. The only time you're not is when you're repeating muscle gain done in the past, or you're starting from nothing and you're gaining muscle, because that's what happens. So remember, those measurements are just going to make you freak out. What I go by, how I feel, what I look like, am I happy? If I'm not happy, I have to change something. And if I'm never happy because if I feel scrawny when I'm lean, and if I feel fat when I'm buff or I'm strong, then I'm never gonna be happy. So it's very important to find the sweet spot. That's what I found, and I just know that the more shredded I am, the more I'm precise with my calories. I'm very precise with my refeed, so I can eat as much as I can every day, and rather eat more every day and have a very precise refeed, like extra concoction, like an extra dessert. When I just eat more of what I always do, when I stick to fat, and I don't do whatever you do there on your own that I don't do anymore, with eating ice cream, cookies, things that it would take me months to work off a day of gluttony for that, because I can really eat. I can't afford it. I don't want to spend my day, not even one day, being depressed about things that I did on my own, that I chose, that nobody told me that I shouldn't do. Here's the thing, nobody's going to stop you from going and do all that. And if you don't stop you, the whole world is going to applaud you for going and eat all the junk food. Because that's what everyone wants. Everyone wants to be, I can't help myself. I'm a victim. I have no choice. Oh, someone is forcing me to go to McDonald's. No, you're not. And I think it's so weird that people are saying, I see that all the time, oh my god, it's so disgusting, McDonald's. But you sit there and eat there. That's like being a heroin addict, and that's your friend, and then you wonder, like, of course they want to get clean, but then they're gonna go and get another shoot up their arm anyway. What's wrong with them, you say? Well, that's like you guys, who you never own up to what you do. So, who I have respect for are the ones who understand there are things that you can learn from me in training technique. Because if you don't understand range of motion and why mobility matters and why you are not going to get the ass you want because you don't have the range of motion, because you're not doing the mobility, because you prioritize having your manicure done instead of having time to train your mobility squat, that I tell you that there's a reason why I do all this laundry list stuff continuously and never go off the record or let myself have a leg day if I don't do that. I can't risk it. So I'm just fair and square. I have myself in check. I tell myself, Pauline, you cannot complain about being not as lean as you want to be if you're going to eat like a pig. You're going to broadcast it to the world? Oh, you bet. You got to be like that to yourself, ladies. You're too princessy. You allow yourself to be weak. And it's such a turn-off, isn't it? If I sit there like, I want the chocolate that everyone else eats. Well, then I'm definitely going to have to accept I'm going to have the body everyone else ends up with. And if I don't want that, I can't do what the world is doing. If I do that, I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. I'm truly stupid. Really, you cannot be crybaby. And I know you all say like, well, I don't respond to that kind of coaching. Well, you should have known that, because I'm not known to be the sweet talker. I'm the honest, raw, blunt person you hate, but you also know I'm right, and then you know that you kind of want to, you know. So, for instance, how do you work your refeeds? How do you work a calorie budget when you're lean? So what do you do when you have maintaining state? What do you do to keep on staying lean when you got to your range where you want to hold on? That's where you go back on your word. That's where you go into summer, you forget about it, and then what happens is that you take your body for granted. You forgot that it took work to stay lean, and now you sabotage yourself again, and then a little more whiskey, and then you're gonna start over again, and then the same vicious cycle repeats. You never make it to lifestyle. You come back, you make that, I don't know what's wrong with me because Fire Right works. I'm back. Like, why did you even leave? It's like you're like overconfident when you have your dream body, but you forget that it takes skills to be able to maintain and live in your dream body. You only think that everything's going to be perfect, easy when you have your results. You bet it's good. It's blessing in disguise that you have to work a lot of time before you are given reward for that work you did. Because you would not know how to hold on to it. It would be like that weird, like, you know, the lover that you share with everyone else, and no matter how you do, you can never figure out what is going to keep it. And you're trying to hold on and cling to all the rules, and then you just like, you kind of brittle. You just break apart because you're trying to be everything. So, how do you avoid when you get injured to not be depressed that you can't do anything and go all the way down to all or nothing mindset, and now you're going to eat cookies while you're injured, which is going to make you fatter, and then you don't even know when you're going to be able to train. Maybe you can never do as much cardio as you used to do before. How then are you going to, are you willing to jeopardize that you're going to eat like a pig for 8 months and then be able to take it off when you can't even train because you have injuries now? What are you going to do? Are you going to, if you're injured in one foot, are you going to do the all or nothing, which all people do by saying you can't train anything because you have a foot gone? That would mean that if people had one amputee leg, they would not have any body at all. That's what you're saying. So what I teach you then is, what do you do to keep a happy fitness life when you're injured, or when you have to sit back, when you can't train, and all that stuff. Because your diet doesn't stop there, guys. That only stops if you don't want to stay lean, or don't want to keep on becoming leaner and learn how to do it for life. The people I respect a lot are the ones who understand that what we do here is being athletes, and athletes always practice. We have ballerinas, dancers, anything that's technical requires constantly over and over. So it's kind of really it's like a pandemic of ignorance in the bodybuilding world, where everyone believes that they know everything and don't need a trainer. That's why they're not getting any further, and why they can never evolve. Because here's the thing, what you need to understand. Basic bodybuilding is progressive overloading, more load over time, total great volume over time, periodize a little bit of different rep ranges, there you go. That's all there is. But that means that you're going to hit the genetic step point very fast after maybe 5, 6, 7 years, and most people don't even last more than 2 weeks. So you're never even going close there. But everyone loves to say it's their genetics. You're not even close. You can't even talk about that. That's like talking about how you're gonna be able to run a sprint when you just was born out of your mother's womb, and now you wonder how you're gonna be Usain Bolt tomorrow. Not gonna happen. You have practice to do. So the women, I have a team of really dedicated women who are like my peers in these communities. And I love working with you, because you are competitors, you are models, you're trainers, and you know that we're not in this, we don't have partnerships together with me trainer, you coach, because you don't know how to train. You are just so smart because you know that you have taken your body to the highest level, which is why everyone admires you. But you know better than that. You know there's beyond that, and you want more. That's bodybuilding. Everything else that is like fitness. Bodybuilding is wanting to go all the way to your full potential, because nobody forces you, but there's nothing more satisfying than really do it, because it's so hard that it keeps everyone else away from you. And if you want power, you want kind of, be on the top and feel like you're king of the world, that's gonna keep you in that place, because it will chisel and refine your mind so much in order to master your body, that it's gonna make you having complete nirvana, Buddhist style nirvana, pure bliss, in order to get to what I say, Friday nirvana in your body, which is where it's harmonious, you know what to do, it's balanced, you're in joy, you're having no up and down tantrums, it's a flow, there's no struggle between the pleasure and pain, you know the strike, the balance, you go with the flow, you live life until you die, and you don't want to get out of it because you live it, you love it. It's your paradise. It gives you the oasis of your life. My mind is my oasis. Is it yours, or is it your prison? So what I teach you is taking you from diet prison to diet paradise, which I call diet nirvana. And if you wonder, this bodybuilding, the body that I built for myself, is equivalent to being the highest level of Buddhist. That's how I see it. So think about that now. And it's no longer the Catholic way of confession booth, repenting your sins, because Repenting sins doesn't work in fat loss and muscle gain. It doesn't. You're just gonna repeat the same fat loss and then never go further. And the thing is that the more muscle you accumulate, the more your body's been experiencing your heavy training, the harder it is for you to go further, because your body becomes more and more resistant to further improvement or change. Why? Because it's costly. Your body doesn't want you to cost more energy, because that means that you're gonna have to take in more calories to maintain it. And that sounds great, right, for us who want to eat, but it's bad for your body who thinks about you are gonna die, because you're over buying energy, like having horses, wild horses you have to feed. That's how your body thinks. So that's why your body rather have fat. So one thing that women believe is that after menopause you're suddenly, miraculously gonna be doomed to be fat, unhealthy, unattractive, and lose all your curves and lose your attraction. That's because women forget, no, it's nothing with menopause, it's just you haven't taken care of your body. And if you're not maintaining muscle mass that maybe you never even built it when you were 20. Maybe you just think so, you had your youth. Well, that's normal, but that's like automatic. After that, everything goes, you have to work for it. So now when you're older, you listen to the whole world, the diet culture's bullshit. They say that women, when they hit menopause, you can't build muscle because of this and that and blah, blah, blah. And then you want to believe it because it gives you an invalid excuse to settle and just drink and forget about them, be bitter. So what is the truth? Well, the mechanic loading is what stimulates muscle, and you have growth hormone release when you lift, and when you get lean, your body is more fat burning mode. Plus, growth hormone is released when you are getting leaner and when you're not eating all the time. When you get lean, your hormones are going to be better. Plus, you can be on HRT, a hormone replacement therapy, still not going to make you bodybuilder, still not going to make you fatter. The thing is that what you eat is going to make you fat, not the estrogen pill you take. You're going to go through water retention, adaptation, but again, it's a hormone, it's a fattening hormone, but it's also a beauty hormone. It also helps with the growth hormone there with estrogen. They are combined somehow. They work together. But the thing is that you believe that hormone eats up for you. It doesn't. It's just a messenger, but you want to, again, be a victim. You want to use all these arguments the world is giving you because you want to be weak, you want to enjoy, you want to be a glutton. Nothing wrong with that, but you're never going to be lean, you're never going to build the body you talk about to me that is all you want. So when people who are what I call my peers, the competitors, like Agnes, for instance, in Sweden, I love working with her because she has a body that's competitor, and she still wants to take it further because that is the competitor's mindset. That's the bodybuilding mindset, to never settle, because we know there's always more to do. That's why I love it, because it becomes fun for me as a trainer, because I want to train people that are beyond basics the way you have to do it, because if you're gonna keep on doing the same, you're gonna not get further. So it's in my interest to have more fun. I'm just thinking that all these women are so insecure, they hold on to these old lifts, which is not going to help them, but they're so married to that dogma because they don't know more. So it's just a sign of ignorance that you don't know, and you don't want to open up your mind because you're scared of what the unknown. You rather want to hold on to the past, but now you notice that your body won't allow it anymore. What are you going to do? You either have to say goodbye bodybuilding, or you have to adapt and overcome, see what, adjust, and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Because why are you going to spend your whole life being bitter about what you can't do anymore? Do you see me talk about how bitter I am I can't deadlift and squat? So tendons, they're going to be bursitis, tendonitis, arthritis, osteoarthritis, wear and tears, all that stuff is part of life. You still have to keep on training. And there's now, when you're going to notice that some pains come and go, you have to work around it. Some pains are always going to stay. And if they don't get worse, you're fine, keep doing. Because I don't know, this pain-free body, what the heck, that's when I'm dead. Seriously, there's always something painful. So if you believe that you're going to feel like you have never been a working woman or anything, put your body through the torture, I think you're trying to be like you're dead, because you're gonna feel pain from being alive. But if you're gonna suffer from it, it's up to you. And that's what I mean. You can take ownership over how you choose to interpret your feelings and what you do with them. But all you guys see, you're very heavily emotional, because you also forget that when you put yourself on a diet or you're trying to be willpower, what happens is that you're actually becoming grumpy and angry and you don't think straight. So you are becoming very emotional, but you don't see it, so you're just kind of completely frantic and And I can definitely see why guys or men like, oh God, they're so up and down. You take this and that. I could never be in a relationship with a woman. And I say that with all the love. And I say a romantic love, a relationship. Okay, so mobility. Something that nobody wants to do. It's just like cardio. Nobody wants to do with the work they have to do in order to be able to train the way you have to train to build the muscle you want to gain. So as you see, the mobility isn't something that you can just select, cherry pick, I do that. Because what you're doing, you are cutting off your ability to train if you don't prioritize it. That's why if you need a little motivation to stick to your diet and not be this tsunami wave that you keep on, because nobody wants to get out of that because you love the pleasure. And you just suck up the pain after you come in like I'm a confession booth. So, if you never want to do what I do, you can tell that you can no longer say, I don't know how Pauline does it, because you know how I do it. That's why I live my life with you in the group. You just choose that you don't have to do what I do, or you think that I'm somehow obsessed or somehow that you're going to do, I don't know what you're going to do or whatever, but I think I just really have to think that I'm just going to focus on the women who understand that ego is going to destroy all your goals because you're never going to get anything and you don't even know you're aware of it. You have to see, you have to be willing to really revisit all these things that you've been conditioning your mind to believing and then make a full, complete cleanse. And case in point, why aren't you happy where you are then if you know so much about how to lift? But I want to be leaner. Yeah, so you got leaner once, so why didn't you maintain the leanness then? If you know how to do it, why don't you maintain the leanness? Because if you keep on doing what got you there, well, you're going to keep on getting to maintain it, what you got. Why don't you? So when you have done about 10-15 years of bodybuilding, you need to kind of change the way you're training, that you cannot just do basic training anymore because your body's too used to it. Can you do it in cycles or circles? Yes, of course. But in that time, you're going to have to throw in a lot of creativity. You have to be really changing the routine tons, much sooner, much faster than when you were early. Like I have to change my routine every 2 weeks. Because if I don't do that, I notice, first of all, I'm bored. Number 2 is that I don't get a pump. Number 3, it hurts. Number 4, I feel like this routine is too stale. Like my body knows it. And if I don't have the interest to reinvent my routine, if I don't want that, I'm going to go in and do the same thing I've done in the past because of lethargy or just ignorance and arrogance, and that's how I'm just going to repeat a lift and I'm not going to get any induced muscle building effect from it. And you also have to know how to train past to be your genetic set point, and that one comes about after about 5 years or so. That's when they say that you have kind of exhausted, and that's based on that you have given your all continuously without falling off hiatus, no motivation dip, like really Pauline level for 5 years, all you got. Now you're gonna notice that that is gonna hit the point. And here I'm on year 23 compared to my year of 5 in visuals, in photos. You're gonna see I'm not the same. I weigh the same, I'm actually less, but I look much more muscular and leaner. You have to know how to start over instead of just starting over after you're fattening up again. How do you start over when you have sticking to your diet? You also have to know how you're gonna lift when you don't know how to lift anymore. Like when you are there's nothing you can do, what do you do then? I have ways. Different ways of loading, so you understand how to convert and compare and loading, and also understand that just because you're converting a load doesn't mean that you're training for the same way. Because even if I convert the load of 5 reps, really intense, low volume, high intensity, heavy strength training, even if I convert the load to hypertrophy measure, it's not going to be the same because I'm training in a different rep range. Of course, going to stimulate the body in different ways. And the biggest kind of motivator I want you for that is that most of the muscle fibers you have, ladies, are slow twitch fiber, the slow one, the endurance ones. And nobody wants them because they're supposed to be small and not as strong. Well, those are your majority fibers, and the most of those means that there's a lot of those that could grow. You could become bigger muscle size by investing in those little small fibers. Why? But how do you do that? Well, you have to train what they're good at, their endurance. But because if you always cut off at 20, which you think is some kind of golden holy grail number, that beyond 20 you can't build muscle, is too light, and just like, oh really? Here I am with 5,000 pound squat sets because I did like half my weight for 100 reps and so on. So you see that when you never think like me, because maybe you have too much other things to think about, that you don't even go into that whole abyss where you notice that there's thing after thing. The more you go into kind of cutting mangrove, chopping that with a bazooka, not a bazooka, but with a big chopping knife, you notice that there's more and more and more. It's almost like the underbelly of humanity, but in bodybuilding. It's like, oh wow. And most people never even have a place to go there anyway, because nobody trains that long that you have to. You also have to know the volume, to how to periodize volume, what I mean by volume, and why volume is a driver for hypertrophy, and why if you want to build muscle you have to make room for getting volume in, because if you don't, now you have to change the way you train. So it might be that you need to do the circles because you can't sit 3 minutes between the sets to do 3 sets before you have no more time for your training. So you have to know your goal, you have to know your time limit, you have to know your schedule, and you sure have to know how to make your schedule and plan, prioritize, and get up early. Sometimes people say, I don't know how to get it in my day, and I ask, when do you get up from bed? 8. I said, okay, when do you go to bed at night? Like 1 a.m. I said, okay, so I get up at 4 a.m. and I go to bed at 10 because I have to get everything in. And I meditate 1 whole hour at 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. I never get out of that. So you think I do that. So you really have to understand that you have to get up early to get it done. You cannot just sleep in and so on. Like the whole day just drags away. You have to know all my extreme techniques because you're gonna have to figure it out how to override all the basics. So everything you see in my books are basics for me. Everything I see you do is basics, or inefficient basics. And I know everyone loves to show the big lifts, but I'm not impressed because I know that's just how you lift basic. I'm beyond basic, that's what I'm about. I'm beyond, when basics don't work anymore, that's what I'm love to do. That's my life, that's what I care about. That's what I'm so happy about sharing, because nobody does that, because everyone becomes depressed and discouraged and forgets about it and leaves bodybuilding fitness life when it's not as easy anymore. But I don't want an easy life, I want a rewarding, satisfactory life for what I do with my legacy, what I'm about, what I teach you. This gives me that. That means not wanting an easy life. And they say, like, don't ask for an easy life, you know, because that makes you weak. Body composition. Yeah, you are completely obsessed about acute numbers up and down, and you marry to them, and you base your refeeds after years of talking to me, years of training with me. You are still not hearing what I say because you don't analyze or reflect upon your own patterns. You create your habit, but you kind of want to pick and choose what you like, and you talk about that, but you're very big talkers at times. And then you stress out about the fluctuations. So first, you're super happy when the fluctuations, the acute changes, are in your favor. But then when they throw the other way around, now you're going to be a tantrum and wonder why, and you're going to go on all or nothing and then eat because your body was horrible, you gained 4 pounds, you don't know why, and then all that again. I'm just like, you haven't even been listening. And then you come to me and say, I know, you say this, and it's like, yeah, you don't listen, you hear me. You're not listening. There's a huge difference, huge. So you all hear me, you all read me, but you don't listen and you don't reflect and you don't make a call, you don't ever decide, do you really want it or not? That's the thing I see with you. You are not committed to your own goal. I was fully and am fully committed to myself, but you are not. You flaky to yourself. Nutrition changes, of course. You're not going to be able to just train on a deficit to think you're going to build muscle. That won't work after years of training. You also won't be able to just be on a deficit to get lean and also build muscle because you don't have the energy anymore. You have to train more discipline so you can eat more of a day, so you can be happier and training harder. You need the energy. You need to train like an athlete. You don't have the luxury to have an eating disorder in a closet anymore, to be a eating private, pretend that something's wrong with your body. There's nothing wrong with your body. There's something wrong with your inadherence to your goals. You're completely like a kid, up and down, up and down. How would you tell your kid if your kid was like you? Talking about how they want to do this in school, best grades all the time, the next day don't even do homework. Just watch TV. You have to know when and how much you do cardio, and especially when how much intensity and the volume, because you have to, that is something that I take individual conversations with all my real people. When I say real, these are the people who understand your ego destroys your goals. Your ego destroys your dreams, and your ego makes you depressed and makes you think that you can't win. Because you are holding on to all things you want to be holding on to, that gives you a power, makes you feel like you're better than the rest. You're scared of people's opinions. You want to make sure you always feel like you're professional. So you never want to be a beginner, you're freaked out about that. That's your stopper. That's why you're never going to evolve. Pride is a very big stopper. Pride is also a very good thing to keep when you want to win over yourself. So when you have your weak moments, when you just want to eat your candy, well, have some pride then. Think about how you want to see yourself. Do you want to see it like your cheater? Someone who just eats when they have a chance to sneak away? Well, is that some kind of love? Like if someone is in a relationship with you, committed relationship, are you going to be like that? A cheat who goes and sneaks away his little indulgences when, ooh, the cat is away? How you are in one field says a lot about other fields. That's how I compare my kind of analysis of people. We shouldn't judge. No, but we do. We judge because we're human, and then the first judgment, then we can revise our judgment. That's what we do. So steps and activity. There comes a time where steps is not what you should do. You should change it because you have time limitations, and that's when you have to work with me again. You also have to listen to what I say, that I don't count steps on cardio that is intense, on the weight training, on any real training cardio or any activity in your day, just the power walk moment. That's what I talk about. So you see, I'm talking about labor days. If you want to do a real dramatic change like The Biggest Loser, you have to do the labor work hour day, labor, physical labor. Aging and training light. We don't train lighter because we're older. It's just the way that your tendons can hold together. The lighter doesn't mean it's easier. It's the opposite. That's why nobody wants to do it. Bodybuilding myths. So you hold on to all the old dogma that you have read in the Muscle and Fitness 2009, and it's a heavy and intensity, and they also only show you the basic way to lift. When everything is perfect conditions, you have a body with no injuries, you're young and strong, you want to build your muscle. That's what they promote in the magazines, and that's what you're signing up and reading, believe that's what you're going to do your whole life. Again, ignorance, and you don't want to open up the book because you're terrified. You're so scared that you rather just kind of look back in the past and keep on repeating it. So basically with that, it's like you're living in the past, wanting to work on a body, using a photo in the past of your body, and now you're gonna try to do it in the same way you build a body, but the reality is different, your body's different, and you don't know how to deal with it. That's where I come into the place. So basically what I need you to understand is that when you train with me, you are peer level with me. You understand that at any level of your life in athleticism, you're gonna have ability to train so you can make better changes. Because range of motion, the way you train it, the flow, the reps, the rest set, the time, the volume, the way you do it, the slight tweak, the angle, how I load it, and how I adjust it. For instance, you believe that it's just one way to do it. I'm like, that's 1 of 1,000 ways. And also how I can kind of just say 2 inches to the side, a little bit more to flexion, then go. And you just see, oh, that's a whole different. You have to just experience it. So give me a shot. You sign up 57 if you're truly committed to want to go past your original best you. If this sounds like you work really hard, you get the results, and then somehow you drift away and you can never get past that, and it pisses you off because you know how hard you work for it and you want to maintain it so you can keep on building lean without fattening up there in the process. Isn't that what you want, right? You want to learn how to do it so it's your Paradise Fitness life routine that is automatic, you know how to do it, you enjoy it, it's not a stress, it's a privilege, it's something you love. If that's what you want to do, then that's why you joined the 57, so I can see your lift, because I know how you lift. And many of you who lift a lot of heavy weights, have been trained for a long time, are missing out on tons of muscle development that's gonna make your metabolic rate go up. Because your egos, your pride, your insecurities, and your strutting that you want to be so like, I don't know, you want to be kind of God, that you know it all, omnipotent, which just shows that you are very full with ignorance. You are very low level for yourself, and you should look in and think that, wow, if I get to know my true colors, to see how I am, I'm gonna be able to reach all my goals finally. The only one stopping you, it's not your body, it's your mind and how you are marrying yourself and holding on to all the beliefs about yourself. That's how you're gonna stay your whole life, and it's never gonna be easier. You are making the call. So that's what I'm offering. I'm offering you to kind of open up the way you think about fitness life, to take it from all about the scale, the numbers, everything perfect, into enjoying learning, continuous education for life, because this is a lifestyle, which means there are going to be new lessons every day. And if you don't understand there's things to learn for someone else, in my life, I would say that I don't know what to say. That's kind of what I am. So I hope that you sign up, guys. And if not, push your friends to sign up so they can learn from me right off the bat, instead of having to trying to figure it out until 15 years and never get anywhere, and then I'm gone, I'm never here. Because here's the thing too, you always think that you can start over coming into a new challenge. How do you know? I mean, I might be just tired of this, because I would make more money for myself for having 5 really committed clients who do what I do, who want to learn, who are there, who pay me up, boom, I'm done. I am here on my own because I love helping and I want to make a big dent in the diet culture shithole. I want to really destroy them. But trust me, so I'm making my life much harder by mass coaching people who don't really want to. But so don't take it for granted. I'm here having my challenge community. So help me support everyone who wants to build muscle, who are now in 2022 and only have Instagram and tons of misinformation, so much that you're gonna get action paralysis if you don't have a strong leader who says, this is what you do, focus on this, forget the rest. Okay, now I'm gonna rest up my voice, because I have 2:30 to 4 p.m. Zoom with clients who want to get my knowledge, who want to learn how to build muscle. Even if they have all the muscle, they're gonna be there, because why do you think I go to trainers who I need? Why do you think I went to kickboxing with UFC boxer years ago? Why did I take a regular local trainer? And I know why. Because I wanted to be the beginner who learned. I didn't want to be looking good, so I chose a less experienced trainer, so I felt that I was cool. Alright guys, so if you're in the 7, see you later. If not, see you tomorrow. And you know, you should listen to my voice, because I know that you don't want to read, and I told you don't read anymore, because apparently what I say there doesn't even get absorbed anyway. So what you can do then is you can listen. Because you do sure have to get somewhere in my stores. So if you're not going through guides and you're picking up on stuff that I would not read, and you kind of bring that to me, I can just tell you are not ever studying what I'm saying. That's why you're failing. And I don't want to study all that you bring to me. All the stuff that you do with all the diet culture, all the things that you do, I have no interest in it. And in my life, I focus on what I'm interested in. That makes me happy, and I screw the rest. Bye-bye.